Hello everybody, thanks for watching today. The purpose of this video is actually to show off this really cool mini grinder I just purchased recently. And now this small grinder right here, I actually saw a link to it on Reddit's Knife Club. And when I saw the size and shape of this grinder, I thought it looked very reminiscent to me of the Worksharp Ken Onion edition, which I've owned the Worksharp for quite a while. And ever since I purchased this particular mini grinder, I have purchased the blade grinding attachment for it, and I haven't looked back. This has been an exclusive tool that I've used to sharpen my knives. But when you look at this device here and the cost of the Ken Onion Worksharp, the base device costs around $130. And if you want to buy the blade grinder attachment, which for me was super important, it's a really nice device, you're looking upwards of $200 for the total unit. And so I wanted to compare the Ken Onion Worksharp a little bit to this unknown brand of a mini grinder here. And so this is a very small belt grinder. And of course I saw it linked, and so I clicked on the eBay listing, did some searching on eBay, and there are a lot of different sellers that sell this very same device. So I wanted to give you an idea of what you're purchasing if you decided to buy one. But in short, though, you know, this is about a $50 device right here, depending on where you get it, compared to the $200 you're going to spend for the Ken Onion. And now, of course, the Ken Onion, in short, is a much better device, a much better grinder, sharpening, everything. But if you have a very low budget and you have nothing else, no other way to grind knives or to sharpen knives, this could work in a pinch for you. But let me just show it off and show you some of the differences between the two. And so first off, before I even show off the actual mini grinder, one important thing about the Ken Onion blade grinding attachment is you can see right here, there are some degree marks. And so it's super easy to adjust the angle you are sharpening your knife at. So you can see that goes up and down, very easy to adjust, and you get a very solid number and you know exactly what angle you're sharpening your knife at. The mini grinder does not have that. It is adjustable in a way, but not quite to the same degree. So for instance, I can show you, when you're sharpening a knife on the Ken Onion, you have a flat surface right here. Imagine it's running right now, but you would lay out your knife, you would lay it on the flat, and you would run it across the belt. You would lay it on the flat, and you would run it across the belt. And so you adjust your angle based on what you set it to in the device. And the mini grinder doesn't quite work the same way, but they kind of have a workaround for it. So keep that in mind as we go on. But let's take a look at the actual mini grinder right here. So just look at the construction of it. It's really not a bad device. It's pretty solidly built. It's solid aluminum construction. It's put together with a lot of different Allen bolts, or what's I'm working for? Hex bolts here. And so a lot of it is adjustable, but again, it's a very solid piece of equipment. If you look on the back, you are going to see some wires just kind of dangling out of there. And so they did cap them off for safety's sake. But again, what you're paying for here is just a functional device and not really for the most pretty thing you could buy. So we have some wires sticking out. We have an on-off switch right here. The belt goes right on these pulleys. And again, very adjustable. It actually came with a set of wrenches. So every little bolt on here that can be adjusted, it came with a little Allen key for it. So that's nice. What's kind of unique about this, though, is the variable speeds, because they advertise it. It's a variable speed DIY grinder. So the actual title of the ad is DIY Mini Belt Sander Knife Apex Sharpener Polishing Grinding Machine. So they added all kinds of words in there in the description to try and get people to find it on eBay. But what's one really neat feature about it is this power supply. And be very careful if you decide to buy this. A lot of the listings did not come with a power supply included. And you may have something with this same barrel adapter already, but I guarantee it's probably not going to be exactly what you're wanting and what you're looking for, because the actual speed on this device is basically decided by the power brick here. And so you can see, let me plug it in for you. Right here on the power brick, you can see there's a light right here, and there's a switch. And it is an adjustable power through here. So essentially, the higher voltage you run through this power brick, the faster the belt's going to go on the machine. And so I've never seen another device that does it like this, so for me this is brand new. But if I had not purchased this with this particular power supply, and if I managed to find something that fit to begin with, I would have gotten only 1 speed out of the device. So turning it on, you can hear the speed on the lowest 12 volt setting. So all the way up to 24 volts, it gets pretty loud. So it definitely is a unique way of powering the device. But even on the lowest 12 volt setting, I think honestly the belt is still going pretty fast. So for knife sharpening, I don't know if it's going to be the best tool for that, honestly. It did come with several belts, and so I think there's 10 of them here of various grits. So I think the lowest one they included was a 60 grit, and it went all the way up to 800. So not super polishing with the belts included. But the belt size, I think it's 13 inches by 3/8 inches. So not a super common size maybe, but they are commercially available. So again, some of the construction here on the grinder. We do have the pulleys with the belt around it. And to change that out, this top piece right here presses in. Like that. And then you can work the belt out. And so this is adjustable. It's on a spring in there, and there's a bolt here that lets you adjust it if you want to keep it down for whatever reason. One of the things, though, once the belt is on there, let me get one back on. Okay, once the belt's back on and you want to be able to keep it centered on the pulleys, there is an adjustable screw here as well, so you can tighten or loosen that, and it'll make the belt slide back and forth. So let me turn it back on. So I have it pretty well adjusted right now, so when I turn it on, it kind of self-centers it, but this screw would adjust that. So we have a small screw for adjusting the centering. We have the up and down pulley for changing belts out. And what else is there? There's this adjustable plate, and I have it loose right now. I could tighten it down. But as I was mentioning earlier, on the Ken Onion blade grinder, you can adjust the angle of the belt on the device itself, whereas on this, it just comes in one configuration, and you get what you get. So the only way to adjust your angle of sharpening would really be to adjust where you start from. And so doing it like this, running it across, would get you a very sharp, high angle, like you would do on the Ken Onion. So you would have to kind of adjust your angle downward like this. And then once you have your flat here, that would be where you want to hold the blade to as you are sharpening. So in a way, it's somewhat super awkward, but it is the way to get around that. And so there's no way to mark, there are no markings to show what angle you're working at, so you might have to get a Sharpie and figure out what works for you and just mark it on the device itself. So that is one drawback to that. And so far I've used this grinder just for some big basic tasks. I was sharpening the end of a crowbar and shaping it out. I did some test sharpening on this knife right here, and it worked for that purpose. So with enough practice, I imagine you'd be able to use this just like the Ken Onion would. The only thing that I would hesitate towards this for is that you got to make sure you buy it with this power supply. So the prices on eBay fluctuate between $40 and $60. So pay very close attention to the listing and make sure it includes the power supply. Otherwise, you might be in trouble there. Also, I made sure to purchase from a seller that was based in the United States. And so the one I bought was from Los Angeles. And it was to my door in less than a week. So that's awesome. I was expecting to have to open it on camera, put it together on camera, but it literally came assembled right out of the box. It looked just like this. It even had a belt already installed. So it was really well packed, a lot of Chinese newspaper and some bubble wrap. So I have no complaints there. So in terms of longevity, I'm not sure how well it's going to work. But it seems like a pretty solid piece of equipment. And the only thing that looks kind of shady about it are all the wires hanging out the back. But beyond that, I think it's very comparable. So this is going to cost you around $50. and it comes with a set of belts to get you started. The Ken Onion Worksharp, again about $130 for the Worksharp, and about another $70 or so for the blade grinding attachment. So that's pretty pricey. You know, I almost forgot how much it cost because I bought this so long ago. And but for me, it's been worth it. You know, it's the #1 tool I use for sharpening anything in this house. It's super easy to use once you get used to it. I think it's a lot better than just the base Worksharp that has the pre-built angle guides on it. Those are garbage, in my opinion. So having the blade grinding attachment has been essential. It's been very important. So again, I wanted to show this off a little bit. Hopefully I described it well enough for you. Just some things you want to keep in mind if you decide to purchase one. So again, if you have any questions about this device or anything I've said, I know I messed up a lot of my words because it's just hard to describe some things on camera sometimes. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. But other than that, thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.